Welcome back to Wonky Kids and Everything. This is season 2. We meant to do it last week, but life got chaotic and it just didn't happen. So we're back on schedule. And I may even release this one early. I don't know. But we're back.
I'll start with an interesting fact.
Go right ahead.
We were informed by True that our dog has gnats around his bowl.
My interesting fact of the day is that every time you fart, you lose 60 calories. You're welcome. Go eat lots of Taco Bell.
Oh,
Or if you're
gosh.
lactose intolerant, just drink milk.
Oh, I have discovered. I know I got a long old straw, but it's like,
You got a what long straw?
a long old straw.
Oh,
Yeah, a while ago I said that I was talking about a locket being raunched.
that just comes so many things to mind. Raunched. Are you raunchy? Are you raunch? How would you say you raunch?
Me and Alan was thinking there was a drone out there in the sky, and I was like, no, it's probably maybe a satellite. He's like, what's the difference between a drone and a satellite? And I said, well, drones just flying around in the air right out
Fly with
there.
your phone.
And I said, like it has to be raunched.
No, you just first said raunched. You didn't say lock it. You just said raunched at first. You said, well, you have to raunch lockets or something like that.
And Alan said he was looking out the window, and he was like, it's a drone. So anyway, if y'all ever want to know, they have to raunch lockets. Lockets have to raunch. Anyway,
so many things come to mind.
you can tell it's going to be a very entertaining podcast. Anyway, yeah, you know me.
What?
If you know me, you know my taste has been all wonky since I had COVID. And I can't really stand, coffee's like, ugh. I have discovered cold brew. Jill says it's bitter.
It's very bitter.
And to
I
me,
don't like cold brew.
oh my gosh, I can drink it. And I just made my own, and I got some cold brew from the store.
I
put some creamer in it, that sweet bliss creamer. And then I put a little whipped cream on top and put some ice in it. Oh my gosh.
No, I've tried different brands. I've tried different strengths. I've tried it all. And I can't. I can't do the cold brew, and it gives me so much reflux too.
Yeah.
I can't.
I like it because I can get like a hint, just a little hint of the coffee, and then I can get a little hint of the sweet.
I did have a great. It was there's a place in Valdosta downtown. It's called Good Coffee, but it's spelled Gud. And they had I asked her what she recommended as far as coffees, and she named off a few, but she said my personal favorite is the honey lavender, and I told her, I said, that's actually what I was looking at. So I tried it, and it's iced. Normally I don't get iced. I can drink hot coffee anytime, but that was really, it wasn't too sweet. But the lavender, you could taste the lavender, but it wasn't over. It was perfect. I wish I got a large, but I wish their large was much bigger.
I guess I think whenever I'm used to like lavender oil.
See, that's what I thought. See, I made the mistake one time of thinking that, and I tried to make for something.
That's my
Oh, for somebody's birth, it may have been for one of the girls' birthday. I had seen on Pinterest they made this pretty lemon lavender cake, and I didn't know at the time that the lavender they use in coffee and food is in a different form, and it's they call it food grade lavender. It's lavender, but it's in a different form, so it tastes different versus the oil. They press it, they get the oil out of it and stuff.
It's probably not as strong.
No, and so I thought you could use lavender oil in the ooh, you cannot. Oh my damn, it was horrible.
See that?
Bacon, it smelled really good, so I thought I was doing a really good job. That first bite, oh, I took that bite and it was like, I couldn't believe I had used that much lavender to make a cake, and it wouldn't have mattered if I used a little bit or what I did. Oh, it was so bad. Just imagine the Epsom salt, the lavender Epsom salt. Imagine being in the bath and accidentally like splashing and getting a taste in your mouth. It was like that times 10. But I took a big old honking bite because it smelled good, it looked good, and I was wrong. Very, very oh, it was so nasty. So, I would love to be able to make that kind of stuff at home, but I'm going to leave that specific one to the professionals. That's well, that's like, so funny story. I don't think I've told this on here. As far as bad, once you do something, I get that taste, something like that, and it's bad. I get that taste stuck in my mouth. The smell of certain things, it activates that memory and that taste. I still to this day have only made one batch of cornbread since the Moore house. So, Brandon and I, we have had a thing with rats our whole marriage. People wonder why I hate mice and rats so much. So
They nasty.
They are nasty. When we first got married, we lived right down the road from Mama and Daddy in a family friend's rental house. And people hadn't lived in there in months. So once we got in there, the stove hadn't been ran in who knows how long. And Brandon had already moved in it, but he had only used the stovetop. He hadn't used the oven yet. And we had those corn-shaped cast iron cornbread holders. I still haven't used that one either again. I have it. I just hadn't used it. That smell just, oh my gosh. It was horrible. So, Brandon I can't remember what else I made, but he asked me if I'd make some cornbread, and he wanted them in the cornbread holder. And it didn't smell while it was preheating. I fixed it, put the cornbread in, and then we started smelling something. And it was horrendous. I really, honestly think that is the most awful smell I've ever smelled in my life. And Brandon asked me what I had done to the cornbread. And I told him nothing. I just made it. And he was thought, oh my land, you really don't know how to make cornbread, and what did you do? Turns out it wasn't me. I knew it wasn't me. But I questioned if it was me because the smell was obviously coming from the stove. So a rats had made a nest in the back of the stove. And when I turned on the
Rat
stove,
toast.
it fried the rats and the nest.
Oh.
That smell, when we got married, we got a ton of candles. We had every candle lit that anybody had given us. There was, in our house, we had the tropics, we had the field, we had fruit.
Probably cotton.
You name it. And the windows had been painted shut. But we got them open that night. And it was horrendous. I can't remember if we wound up coming over here that night or what we wound up doing. But that's anytime I fix cornbread, not when anybody else fixes it, but when I fix it, I smell it. And Brandon makes the cornbread. I made some for Thanksgiving to make for Neema's dressing. But that is the first time I have made cornbread in 10 years. I don't make the cornbread. I smell it every single time. So he called poor old Russ the next day. He was like, hey, Russ. So here's the thing. Jill tried to make cornbread last night, and it did not turn out good. So poor old Russ. We had a new stove before long, but it was just that was.
I guess that's the reason why too. Whenever I think of lavender, I instantly get the taste of like lavender oil.
I don't know, that cake I made was pretty bad, and I still drink it. It was just horrible.
I may just have to do like a little spoon one day.
We'll get the girls up at Espresso to make you one with lavender. They have remember they got that lavender one for their spring and summer menu now.
Yeah, but I don't want a whole drink. Like, I just want to taste it to see if I can handle it. I'll get you one, and then I'll take a spoon and take a little.
It's really good.
But I don't want no matcha. It's green. It looks like grass. I don't want to drink grass.
Matcha is good if it's made right, but if you haven't had it made right, then it's bad.
It looks like grass.
Well, if you don't have it made right, it can taste like grass, and it can taste grainy too. But if they make it right and they mix it right,
she was good. Alan has enough comments. I don't need to go around drinking matcha.
If you get it hot, it would be in a cup he can't see. It dissolves better when it's hot too. Bless it. This has nothing to do with what we were supposed to be talking about.
Absolutely nothing at all.
What we were supposed to be talking about tonight. So,
yeah.
Mama normally I'm the one to text her about wanting to do the podcast, but she's been much busier than me, and she's had all the things going on. So she texted me and decided to record tonight. And I asked her. We went through our ideas of topics we had, and as usual, we hardly ever pick a topic that we wrote down. I think we've only picked 3 or 4. Which I guess we've done 10 episodes, so that's about half.
Yeah.
Half off of what we've wrote down. But she brought up the point that there's kids getting ready to go off to college and start trying to make life decisions and graduate. So tonight we're going to discuss about and kind of touch on college isn't for everybody. That path isn't for school, whether it... We've been sitting here talking for probably a good 15, 20 minutes.
Probably more like 30.
Well, no, since it stopped recording.
Oh.
And my phone stopped recording. Mama has this new little pressy thing to start it so I don't have to get up and down.
You may want to set it right.
I am. And at some point, I guess my foot hit it. And we went into a whole...
Oh, we have covered an entire conversation and... You'll realize
I just own it this week.
She's like,
I looked up and There was no red.
Hey, at least you realized it before we did the whole episode. Hey, we could have just done the what was we were talking about today. Therapy's okay.
Oh,
It's
therapy's
okay to go to
okay.
therapy. That's the session. That's the
I told her at that
podcast.
point I would just make a post saying therapy is okay. Thank you for tuning in.
Join us next time.
But to sum up, she was talking about how you said that when we both went to college.
Oh yeah,
How old were you when you started? Did you? Because did they move to Macon before you graduated or after you graduated?
Dad moved while I was in high school, while I was a senior.
Mm-hmm.
Mom stayed there with me for me to finish my senior year, and then Mom moved up there with Dad, and then I stayed down there and went to VSU.
And then transferred to Macon.
And then I transferred to Macon. And then that's whenever I met Alan after being up there about a year.
So you were in college a year.
I was in college, let me see.
Because you had a job at the dentist office at the college.
I worked in the dentist office when I was in high school.
High school, oh, okay.
Yeah, that was
I thought you worked at it in college, too.
Mm-mm. No, I was going to school to be a dental hygienist, but I didn't work at it. I worked at the dentist office as part of my work study, whatever program in high school where you get out.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, gotcha.
And then I went to VSU and was going to be a dental hygienist. And then I was not one that really liked staying by myself, so I moved up to Macon. But I was 20 when we got married.
I don't have my calculator.
Yeah.
To do the
Well,
math.
then I went to college 2 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I went to college 2 years.
For some reason,
I think I went to Valdosta a year and then Macon for a year. But I was doing really good. I was telling Jill, I mean, I did really good in college. I know most would probably be like, you did good in college? Like, yeah, I did really good in college. I had already made my way to the nursing math and everything, and I was having no problem, but I also had great teachers. Now, some were some weird cookies, man. They were so weird. The medical
field does have some weird teachers.
Oh, I think it all does. But anyway, I had some phenomenal teachers too. And I was knocking nursing math like out of the water. But then I met Alan and we got married, and I never went back to college because I just didn't like school. But you know, some things, and there's nothing wrong with college.
No. If you really want to go and you feel like you can do what you want to do and you can make a living and accomplish what you want to by going to college, great. But if you do not want to go to college and school isn't for you, there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Statistical wise, people have more trouble out of college finding jobs in their field than people who don't go to college, and maybe somebody who has a trade. So I graduated and got married. Well, yeah. And then went straight into college because I thought as a wife, which this is true, but I thought my only role to help providing in our family was by me going to college and getting a job, which isn't true. But I thought I had to do that because I wanted to help make money to help provide for the family. And granted, I needed to do that, but I didn't have to go to college to do that.
Yeah.
I could have found a job somewhere else and done that without going to college.
Yeah.
And so I started off in fish and wildlife, and I wanted to work my way up to game warden, and I was on that track. But in Georgia, in order to become a game warden, you have to spend 6 months at the game warden like school in Forsyth, and you have to stay there all week. You live on the site, you go to school on the site, and you can only come home on the weekends. And I didn't think it was wise of me, smart of me, or even respectful to Brandon to say, okay, yes, I'm going to marry you. Yes, we're going to build this life together, but I'm fixing to move off and spend 6 months away from you and only come home on weekends. That's a very vital part, especially at the beginning of your marriage, to miss out on building that foundation together. And marriage is hard anyways, but especially, and it will always have its challenges, but especially at the beginning, for me to sit there and go, no, I'm going to go off. And this wasn't him putting it in my head either. If I'd have chosen to go off, he was very supportive of me becoming a game warden. He was excited about me becoming a game warden. But entering into that field where I was going, they don't tell you this information, which I feel like they should when you sign up for this. And my teacher thought they did. He thought we were all aware of this. He was also, this was his first year teaching at that school. And so he didn't know that no one, which as far as I know, he's actually not there anymore.
Yeah.
But that was I have always had to study. I've always struggled in school because I learn differently. I'm very hands-on. I don't do good by just reading a book and being my learning method is repetition, hands-on, and don't make me sit at a desk constantly because it just doesn't work well. But Mr. Martin, he was wonderful. He was very hands-on. I never had to, that time in school was never stressful for me. We were very hands-on. If he could do a project hands-on as far as learning that way, and say that being our test hands-on, that would be our test.
Yeah.
Or like I was saying before, it cut off that part of our assignment for ornithology, which was birds, we would bring a chair and we would just sit out. We would all be set out throughout the woods, and we would just sit there for the whole class period of ornithology or whatever. And we would just sit there. He would tell us to find 3 birds, how many ever birds, go at our manual or our guide, pick out the bird it was, write out some facts about it, what we saw versus what the book said. I mean, just very hands-on, but you could sit there and just almost fall asleep, and it was wonderful. But we were always active. We would walk the whole farm. I don't think I ever got to burn off woods, but you would do that. Everything was very hands-on.
Yeah. Well, and too, it was something you loved.
Oh, I loved it. And we went, I can't remember where it was on one of our field trips, but we went to a WMA, and the guy, he would arrange things so we could actually do something. And the guy was tagging baby birds that day. So we got to see him pull the like the nest out because the mama wasn't in it, and we got to see him tag the baby birds, and it was just so cool. And he explained the process and everything. And if I ever could go back, it's not that I would choose to do it at that time, but if I could have waited further in our marriage to choose a time to go back, that's something I wish I could have followed through with. But it all works out for a reason, and I'm not mad about that. But after I found out about the you had to move off for 6 months, and I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm not leaving my fresh marriage, and I just felt like that would be selfish of me to go off and do that and leave my husband that I had just gotten married to. It just wouldn't have been right. And so uh, I was like, okay, well, if I'm not gonna go down this road, I need to find something else. Well, Jessica, who I was in fishing, which I had known her for a while, anyways, she was thinking about going for a phlebotomy, and she said it only took 6 months. And medical stuff has always been neat. And I was like, okay, well, that's something I could see myself doing. So I transferred myself to phlebotomy. Oh my gosh. That was, I went from one extreme to the next as far as fish and wildlife, and my instructor was very hands-on. It was my perfect learning environment. To the complete opposite. We were at a desk all day, and it wasn't necessarily my teacher's fault, because this is how it was. Also her first year teaching, and it wasn't her fault necessarily. She was learning as we were learning, but she was very book savvy. As far as she learned well with a book. I needed you to get the dummies out, to point stuff out, to show me what vein does what, to what artery, to what body part. I needed that.
You need the visual.
I need the visual.
And the hands-on.
Yes, and that was the anatomy. Everything else I was fine in. Midterm I did fine in. Everything else I did fine with. But the anatomy part is what screwed me over.
Yeah.
Because I could not. I couldn't do it. So after that, I think Brandon saw me struggling, because he knew what I was trying to do. So as far as he knew, I was trying to help, and I don't think Gus hadn't come along yet, I don't think. And no, he hadn't come along yet, and he suggested early childhood, and so I did that, and I stuck with that up until I found out I was pregnant with the girls. And then, because I got part of my degree, so if I ever had to, I could teach in a school if I needed to, but I didn't finish my master's because it got expensive, and found out we were having the girls. So then it just went to me finding a random job anyway. So I'd have been much better off just finding a random job, making money, and not spending all those years going to school whenever I'm not using anything I went to school for.
Yeah.
And life transitions anyways. There's plenty of things you can do now. If you have a drive to be your own boss or to start your own business, go get a job that you wouldn't kill yourself over, as far as that you'll be okay to stay there for a while.
Well, if you're interested in being an electrician, find you a job with an electrician.
Learn hands-on.
Yeah. Learn from somebody really good. And some of these, like, you can be an apprentice, and then you can work under their license until you can get your own license. But find somebody really good. And I know that's the way it used to be with an electrician and
plumber.
Yeah,
people are really starting to see the need for trades again, because
there's plumbers.
If you need somebody to work on your fridge now, it's almost impossible.
Refrigerators, washing machines, dryers, and I know, we have to have money to survive. Yeah. But I think that's the reason why a lot of doctors and lawyers wind up being such flunkies and just...
They start off really good, then they get burnt out.
Yeah, I think they either family pushes them to be that, or it's a family tradition, or, the family wants, to say my child's a doctor, or, the money aspect, and then they're not in it because they love it.
Find something you love or that you're interested in, and something, because money comes and goes. And I know that's a cliche, but it does. You'll always be spending money and you'll always be making money. And well, hopefully, you'll always be making money, whether it be for yourself, for someone else, whatever. But,
Well, see, and that's like being a cop. Cops don't get into it because it's loaded with money.
well, that's the same thing with farming. People think farmers are just loaded, but the thing is like we talked about last time, is you pretty much live off of loans. Some, some people are grandfathered in their family, and they never had to start from scratch. They never had to really struggle.
Yeah.
But farming is
we roll a lot of money as far as
what's on paper is not what we make, because as soon as something comes in, it goes right back out. And you could have several things coming in, but several things going right back out. So whenever, that's another thing with college, is if you go in and say you are a farmer's wife or a farmer's kid, they look at your papers and they think, oh, well, you don't need financial aid because you make this. No, they don't. No, they don't. On paper, it may say that you made 150 grand this year. That is not true. In reality, you only made like 25 grand, and the rest went right back out. And sometimes you don't even make that.
Well, and two, it's to farm large scale now, you're looking at $1 million.
Easy.
That's like one repair bills, like with
a John Deere service call now is $116 an hour.
Yeah.
An hour.
Yeah. And
that doesn't include as far as them coming out there and everything else. Because I think Brandon said after a certain amount they charge more mileage because it's so far out. It may have been John Deere that was for, or something else.
Well, we just paid one parts bill at John Deere place, $34,000 for one. That's not including chemicals and all of that stuff. And
one bearing, I think one bearing is $800.
Yeah.
That's just one, and bearings go out all the time.
Yeah.
So people look at that. They don't see everything that's going out. They don't see the constant things that happen and the constant breakdowns.
Online, you can go online and pull up some of what farmers make and their payments and stuff, but it does not list our bills. Chemical bills and stuff like that. I mean, it's just so get into
diesel,
something.
Farm fuel's gone up this year. Everything's up anyway.
And what we make has gone down. So when a lot of people say, "Oh man, I love to farm," and that's great.
No. That was my other point. As far as I do hope Gus farms. I hope Gus keeps this love and joy of farming, because a lot of parents, we've known a lot of parents growing up and people growing up, and I know a lot of people now, they say, I hope my child doesn't farm. I don't want my child to farm. It's because they think that, they say because it's so hard and it's so much to struggle. Everything's hard. Everything is a struggle.
Everybody's struggling.
If your child really wants to do, child, grandchild, whoever wants to do something, wouldn't you rather them do something they love that's hard than go and do something they feel like they were forced to do and then be 60 years old and go, man, I really wish
I had. Well, that's like, for so long you've heard, find a job you love to do and you'll never work a day in your life. But in reality, it was, I heard it worded differently the other day. Find a job you love to do, but you will work hard every day of your life. But you will work harder at doing a job you love to do.
You don't mind the work as much.
Yeah, that's like before Alan got sick. He would come home because he had to, not because, he loved us, but he just loved what he did so much.
That's Brandon, bless his heart. He worked. and it's not because he works because he wants to provide for his family, but on days where he can't work or they're physically can't work, or that's he pulled his rib out of socket probably 8-9 months ago, and he was working on he was I can't
You
remember.
reckon he cracked it?
No, he pulled it. He went to the doctor. He finally went to the doctor. He pulled it out of it came out of socket, and he kept working. He was not going to stop. He kept working. So finally, because I didn't say anything because he ain't going to go to the doctor till he's ready to. So I helped him with whatever I could, and a few days later he went to the doctor, and she said, yeah, it went out of socket, but somehow you popped it back in. He said, I know when it popped back in. And he reached over something when he was with Dawn, and they both heard it. Like, they both heard it go,
I didn't know
poop.
you could pull it. Like,
Yeah, you can. I have a rib that moves. If I do sit-ups, I have a rib that goes hop boom, hop boom, hop boom. I don't know why, but anyway, he physically shouldn't have been working, but he was working.
Oh yeah,
he was working. But on days it rains and there's nothing, there's always something that can be done. But if it's raining and something's closed and he can't work, then he starts pacing around the house. He starts pacing. He can't stand it. He starts pacing. So he'll say, man, I wish we could have a day where I could have a break. No, and when reality, when it comes to it, if the man is not working, he's miserable. And it just is what it is. And I wish on some days when it's like that, he would take time to rest or relax. But that's just not him. It's just not him. And it is what it is. And I love him for that, because that's a work ethic that I've said it before to him too. You had every excuse in the book to not be a good father and to not try to instill a good work ethic because of your childhood and everything else. And yet you did the opposite. And that is a very not only honorable thing, but something that anyone should be proud of, to be able to say that they are instilling, like, as a wife, that my husband is instilling that in our children, and saying that I love something so much that I'm going to work like this. But also on the days, the times when it's hard, that he's still working and doing everything he can to provide for his family, even though it's hard sometimes, because it's stressful. It's anything stressful, as far as life, work, all of that's stressful.
Yeah.
But
well, you can even shadow different places. Some places will let you shadow, like a vet tech. Oh my gosh, I would love to be a vet tech. Or
see, I wouldn't. I couldn't take the having to put down the animals, because you have to shadow that too. And
yeah. But or there's different ideas. You could, if you love to work with kids and love to work in a daycare, and you could even work towards figure out what you need to be able to open your own daycare years down the road.
Now you don't have to have, as far as I know, you don't have to have a degree to sub.
Yeah.
They're always looking for subs, so anybody can sub, and you can get your feelers out. But you couldn't pay me enough for all the people I know that teach.
God bless you.
See, there's a reason early childhood didn't pan out for me, because the way the school systems are now, I'd either be fired or I would have quit.
I'd be in jail because I'd be snatched.
No, I wouldn't be in jail. I would have
snatched a knot in somebody's kid.
No, I just would have left, because I would have realized that child wasn't. I know that sounds horrible, but they aren't worth my staying in jail, because when they go home, they're just going to get embellished
and that's
with
the bad
the
thing
stuff.
Is there's so many now that when they get home, they're, instead of the parents holding them accountable, they're defending the kids' actions. And
well, and the narrative of everybody's on the spectrum, and they have this and they have that's
they've had this upbringing and bless
well,
their
not
heart.
even that, just the mental stuff and everything they're embellishing. And yeah, I understand that there are kids on the spectrum. I understand that people do have learning disabilities and all of that. But it's being used to the point of as an excuse.
Yeah.
And I think they're also saying that we obviously know True is on the spectrum. There is no doubt. And that he has autism. But I think now when people go to get their child tested, I think sometimes they're being told their child has autism or something on the spectrum when they don't. I think it's being seen as, oh, well, your child is struggling, so they're on the spectrum, and not, well, how can we help them? How can we work with them?
Well, and two,
something, I don't know.
Parents, sometimes, if they figure out, some of the parents, because I've seen it, if they figure out, oh, it'll make it easier on my kid, it'll make it easier on me, like if they can get this diagnosis.
They're being lazy.
Yeah. Then all they've got to do is do research and study and everything and say, oh yeah, my child does this, 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 and this, when they're filling out all the question stuff. And because with True, my thing was always, yes, he has this, how can we get it better? And you're wanting to push to make sure he's the best version of himself that he can be. Not like this kid over here or that kid over there. But and they're not doing their kids any favors, because
the world is hard. And there's going to be one day when they are out and you can't help them with anything. Heaven forbid, you might be gone and dead and they're here by themselves. You ain't going to be able to help them. And they've got to figure out how to navigate the hard stuff by themselves. And sometimes it may seem cruel, but it's not that. It's because you love them and you want them to be able to navigate stuff that's hard. With Gus, with his school, there's many reasons why I hope he farms. One, I see how much he enjoys it when we go and he sees what his daddy does, and he enjoys the whole 9 yards. But also, he struggles in school like me, and I've had to figure out different methods and ways, even with different subjects. Each subject has a different method. With his reading, he does much, much better if I'm not in the room when he's trying to figure out a sentence. Or it has to be up on the board. I write it on the board and we have to do it together. Math, he's good at math, which shocks me, because except for the dyslexic part where he gets his numbers mixed up and he writes them backwards or switches them up.
Yeah.
He knows what he's trying to say. He just doesn't write it that way. And we have to come up with tricks to... Anyways, he could do... If he wanted to go to college, he could do it. You just have to figure out ways that it works. But I see how easy he picks up stuff I say about farming. Granted, I'm not very... I know people think as a farmer's wife you should know this, that, and the other. Listen, I know what I know, and I don't know what I don't know. I help where I can, but granted, I am not this... If you set me out there and tried to get me to do such and such by myself, there's a 75% chance I'm gonna mess it up.
Or grow onions.
Anyway. I can't plant nothing and grow anything to save my life, but I can irrigate. It, but we planted... I didn't. Brandon planted the garden. I helped a little bit.
Go ahead. No, I want to...
We planted onions Brandon planted the garden, but I helped him plant the first part. And then the next day he gave me the stuff. He gave me the onions, and these were already sprouted. Is the sad part. It wasn't just seeds. He gave me the onions to plant the next day. I was wrong. Not all of them are dead, but very few of them are alive.
Hey,
Very few
but
of
hey,
them.
but a few of them lived.
But what's bad is you can tell where I planted. It goes from flourishing and pretty where he's planted to this the spot where it's pitiful.
Where it did.
It's pitiful. It's puny.
I looked up high-paying, in-demand trades that do not require a 4-year college degree. Include electricians, plumbers, HVAC technicians, welders. And elevator installers, with many offering 6-figure potential. They often prioritize hands-on experience, certifications, offering faster entry into the workforce compared to traditional degrees. Let me see, an elevator installer repairer. Average salaries $90,000 to $100,000. Electrician $60,000 to $100,000 per year.
And also, this probably depends on where you live.
Yeah,
too.
where you live and stuff. But
that just goes to show that it doesn't take a degree. You don't have to have a degree. College isn't for everybody. Most kids, I know when we were doing college outreach, when we were at the previous church we would ask a lot of them what they were going for. Most of them had no clue, but they were going off to college because that's what their parents wanted them to do or felt like they had to do. And they just kept going and going, and their parents would tell them to do their core classes. They'd be halfway through school or all the way through their 4 years and still have no clue what. So you're wasting money.
I have known some ready to graduate, and they're like, okay, well, what are you getting your degree in? What are you going to do? Well, this and this and this. I'm like, okay, what are you going to be able to do with that? I don't know. I mean, I just never could really figure out, and they've spent all this money on school.
I can't think of many. I can think of one, two or three people. I think two that are actually working in the field they went to school for. Everyone else isn't.
Yeah.
And they found something else. So if you find something that you're interested in and you could see yourself doing for a little bit, do that. And you can always swap jobs later. I heard somebody say, I'm already doing a job on Indeed, so if I don't like this job and this job doesn't work out, if I go after my goal and my dream doesn't work out, what's the worst that I'm going to be doing?
Yeah.
What I'm doing right now, getting a job off of Indeed.
Yeah.
So if you have something that you're wanting to pursue, get you a job, save up for it,
research.
Well, even research.
As far as go online, look up different jobs. If you cannot stand going to school and book learning, go online and look up the different jobs that you can do without a degree.
Well, even if you wanted to just become your own boss.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, go online and look it up. What do I need to open a daycare?
Or look around if you have seen for years what your community needs and you have an interest in that and it's something you've wanted to do and you want to try to save up and open that or do that.
Yeah.
I can think of many things the town we live in needs, but also the problem is with very small towns like this, because we have less than 3,000 people. The problem is everybody pushes the slogan of shop local, but the thing is when it comes to shopping local, nobody wants to shop or support local. So there's things we've thought of and we've talked about with other people as far as just throwing ideas out, not that we were going to open it, but just say, well, we could use this, we could use that, and then at the end we all come to the conclusion, well, that would never last here. Yeah. That would never sustain.
Because you have to have people to support it. Even the ones that say, shop local.
I had for a while really thought about because I've worked many fields and thought about a doggy salon type
Grooming.
daycare thing, and it would never last. And people would say, "Well, I promise I'll support it." It would never last. It just wouldn't, because you would have to have. I would have to rent a space. I couldn't do it at my house because I'm not junking up my front yard. That was something that I had thought about doing like a something kind of like a pod out front. But I was like, I don't want all that in and out of my yard.
Yeah.
So you'd have to rent a space. You'd have to do all this. You'd have to do. No, I'd be so upset. Well, it would. One and two. It wouldn't. I'm not working right now, which I don't foresee me working anytime anyways, because I feel like I'm where God wants me right now. I'm home. I'm homeschooling the kids. I'm helping Brandon where I can. I'm fully into my mama, my wife time, and I'm enjoying it and soaking it in. But it would be me taking Brandon's hard-earned money, poured it into something, and nothing coming out of it.
Yeah.
And then I would feel horrible, and like I had wasted his time, his money, his everything into that, and it just would not be.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be fruitful.
Yeah. Well, it's now again, like we said, if this is mainly to just kind of encourage people, you don't have to go to college to have a wonderful life, to have a successful life, to be happy. Like,
well, that's not what makes you happy anyways.
Well, I mean, some look at it as when they're graduating, as far as people telling them, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that, you'll have a wonderful life. And you've got to go out and find something that you love. Sit down, and if you don't know what you love, like, sit down.
That's why I suggest just getting a random job. And if you have no earthly clue what you want to do, get a random job, maybe from a friend you know that works somewhere that has a job opening, or they work somewhere and the place they work has a job opening. Get one there, have the chance to live and figure out what you want to do, and but also have time for yourself, because in school, it's I I feel like a lot of time I wasted was in school doing something that I felt like I needed to be there, but I didn't really want to be there.
Well, and two, you're 18 years old. What do we really know at 18 years old? I didn't know jack doo-doo. And that's another thing, parents. If your high school graduate or whatever does not really know what they want to do, or they're not really sure about school, let them get out and get a job. Do not push them to go straight into college or whatever, because you think, okay, you're wasting time. No, they're not. They need some time to mature, to grow, to figure out what they want to do.
You've been in school for 15 years.
Almost your whole life.
14, 15 years. And your everyday, other than holidays, breaks, whatever, has been filled with books, with whatever involves with school. And it's okay to take a break and just figure out what you want to do. Have time to wake up and take care of yourself, or to learn the responsibility of what a bank account is, what filing taxes is, what a checking account, what a checkbook is, what responsibility is.
Yeah.
And then maybe somewhere along the way something will spark and you'll figure out what you want to do. That's not to say that college isn't for you, because some people thrive in college.
Yeah.
But it just may not be even at that moment.
So, but me as a parent, I've already had my time as far as being a teenager, growing, learning. I mean, we grow every day and we learn every day, hopefully. But with True, he wants to be a trooper. Okay, then, but he's only 8. You want to be a trooper? Fine. Great. Go be a trooper. Then this is what you need to do. If he decides he wants to go dig a ditch, okay. You want to go dig a ditch, then.
I won't ever forget. I won't ever forget when Twig was little. I hope Miss Stephanie watches this. When he was little, in the garbage truck, he was obsessed with the garbage truck, and he wanted his job to be the garbage man that dumps the trash. I won't ever forget her saying, "Why don't we aim to be the owner of the truck company, not the garbage man?" And it wasn't because she thought that there was anything with the garbage man. It's because most garbage men are usually incarcerated people. And she's around here at least. And she's like, why don't we aim to be the person who drives the truck, or the person that owns the company, not the incarcerated people.
And around that time too, they also used a lot of the prisoners on the backs of the garbage trucks.
That's what incarcerated means.
Oh, I know, but it was, I remember seeing a lot of them with the black and white stripe. Now I think they wear orange. But this was, of course, this may have been even before that. They used to have the black and white stripes, and you'd see them with the black and white stripes.
I just won't ever forget. And he had so many garbage truck toys. I've never seen a child have garbage truck toys like this, and I found it quite funny. And I won't ever forget that. And he, bless his heart, he was so obsessed with those things. But even just then, seeing a different parent's perspective on something like that encouraged me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think I was married even when he said that, but it encouraged me to go, okay, why don't we just look at this at a different point of view? And also in having kids, I mean, I've thought about, I don't want to think about it, but I've thought about when the kids get older, if they decide to move off, whatever. One, mentally, I'm not ready for that anyways. But two, I know how much I struggled in college, and I felt like I needed to be there, not necessarily that I wanted to be there. And to be able to think as a parent, if they don't want to go off to college, which honestly, I really hope they don't go off to college. I don't want them to. But whatever they want to do as far as that, to help them, just learning how to be supportive in their decisions, of course, within a reasonable manner, not going crazy and doing things they shouldn't.
Oh, yeah.
But just as far as if they have a different point of view in how they want to do their career-wise, and I'm good, again, as long as it's nothing crazy and we ain't trying to do crazy stuff. But
now, if they do come up and say, hey, I'm going to go be a stripper and my name's going to be Tasty Cakes.
You know what was literally singing in my mind? I'm in love with a stripper. She piping, she rocking. Sorry.
Can you tell we're a bit related?
I thought.
Now,
what was popping in my head as far as it's a lot of money, quick. They make more money than I ever have, and probably we do as a family in a year. Even though Jesus would not be inclined to do that lifestyle. But that's just, the song was playing in my head as I was also
use common sense and, God and everything. And like,
But also,
just remember, this is their life, their future. They're the ones that have to live it, not us as parents. It's like,
you had your time.
Yeah.
Even if you want to go back to school as a parent, that's fine. You go back to school. You do, whatever you and your family need to. But let your child choose their path for their career, and
be there to help them.
because they're the ones that have to wake up in the mornings, nights, whatever, to go to the workplace. I have had jobs where you've literally just sat in the floor and cried because you had to go, mainly two, but to go and work at these places. And it's not worth it. It is not worth it at all.
That's
And
like
it
true being a
drains
trooper.
you.
Do I look forward to, I mean, and he is just eat up with it. Does not care about farming. He likes
But
fast
and that's
cars.
the other thing too. There are many people, many, I can think of two right offhand, that had never had any interest in farming, and that's what they're doing now.
Oh,
Their
yeah.
parents have farmed, and
Uh-huh.
that's what they're doing now. Some people's don't come until later, and that's
Yeah.
all they want to do. For
Uh,
True, I see, as much as he loves it, I also know how much
Oh, he has.
other stuff scares him.
Yeah. Well, see, and
And
that's
moving off from you, and how much he's gonna have. I see him trying to enter into it, but then I see him choosing something else.
yeah, or something a different part
He
of
could
the
work at the
field.
state patrol office like there's one here,
Yeah.
but just
Or
in the
even
office
investigative part or
Yeah.
something. But
I don't see him, as much as he loves the cars and everything else.
Yeah.
I don't see him being on the front line of a state patrol.
yeah, well, and two, that's one thing about autism is, I mean, as far as he's progressed, that's one thing about autism also is, they become fixated on that one thing for a while. It could be months or it can be years. And then all of a sudden that interest starts transitioning. And then it'll go to something else, and it'll be that way for a time frame, and then it'll transition. So this is the thing that has stuck the longest so far. But and even though he's 8, I've had to mentally tell myself, okay, if he sticks on this path, do I really want him to be out there strapping on a vest every day and and nah, sure enough don't. And I would love it, but I'm like, okay, Donna, you have to look at this realistically. If this is where God wants him, then that's where he needs to be.
That's another thing. Pray about where God wants your child, and to lead them down the path that he would want them down, and to guide them and keep them safe.
God does not need our help. We need to still love on them, be their parents.
He would like us to help guide them in the way and help lead them in the way that he would want them, but he doesn't need.
No. But I mean, I would just really love if if I could wrap him in bubble wrap for the rest of his life. And
part of me says he wouldn't mind that.
no,
Part of me,
as long as it's quiet.
Part of me says that he would be okay with that.
As long as I'm right there beside him, he'd probably be all right. But yeah, we have to guide, help, direct, be a parent, but we also have to get out of the way. We have to cut the apron strings.
Even as they're little, it's hard to see and let your kid learn the hard way, to fall. That's like we were at in the mountains. I kept telling him, I said, you can't run up and down these stairs. You can't run up and down these stairs. You're going to fall. And he did. He busted and he scraped his back. And I told him, I checked over him, made sure he was good. I felt on his spine, and I said, listen, I told you, you cannot do that or you're going to get hurt. I didn't coddle him. He has to learn the hard way, unfortunately. He's got a heart of gold, but when something hurts and stings and he remembers it, that's when he learns stuff like that. That's how he has to learn the hard way. And he hasn't forgotten it. The boy don't run down those stairs no more.
And I have to say, though, as a grandparent, oh my gosh, it's harder to watch your grandkids learn those lessons. In case you don't have grandkids yet, let me just tell you. It's harder to watch your grandkids learn those lessons than it is your kids.
He just has to learn the hard way.
But I think it's because it's, you're so much on, okay, you got to do this and this and
Well, as
this
a
and this and
parent,
this.
you're
You are
focused on
responsible.
the discipline
Yeah.
part and to the bubble
As
part.
grandparents, you're just kind of, oh, come here, you know, with your daddy, here's ice cream, here's candy, here's stuff. Now you can go home and be crazy at your house, you know.
I just looked over and saw Pa go. He walked away, but he has to learn the hard way. And
Yeah.
I know people that don't have a kid that's like that who can they can coddle them and it be fine. But with him,
See, that's like with you, we could look at you cross-eyed and you would bawl.
Well, not you, Daddy.
Yeah. Now, sometimes when you were younger, I could.
Oh.
But now, when you got about 9 and that attitude started popping out, oh my gosh, game on. Webb was always, I'm going to do it. Or, Webb, if you put your hand in that, it's going to chop your hand off.
I won't ever forget when Gus was, we just moved to over there, and he was probably 2. And we had, at that house, there was, I know this sounds horrible, but we couldn't help it at the time. There was mice all the time. And we had a mouse trap behind the trash can. And he was riding around on a little pedal scooter he had. It was a little plastic pedal scooter. And I looked at him because he saw it, and I saw the wheels turning. And I looked at him and I said, if you put your foot in that, it's going to bite you. And he just kept looking at it. He rolled around a little bit later. And I said, Gus, you put your foot in it, it's going to bite you. What did he do? He looks at me. He takes his teeny tiny feet. He sticks it in there. And it did. It bit him. And I left it. I know this, don't think of me as a bad parent. But that boy ain't touched a mouse trap since. I left his foot in it for a second. I said, Gus, I told you it was going to bite you.
And it hurts. Let me just tell you, when we had that mouse in that drawer back there that your daddy was trying to shoot it and stab it and everything else, and I went and got mouse traps and I was trying to set it, and it was a new kind. It looked like a bear trap with teeth. And I was trying to set it. Well, I hit the wrong thing and it clamped down on my hand. Oh my gosh, that hurt. I was just like, and True was there and he did. I was like, just leave me alone. Just like, I have to process the pain. It's like, just, you know, it's like you got this trap on. It's like, you know, I'm trying to compose. I'm trying to.
No, he's always learned that way. And he's gotten much better. He used to, for every little scratch thing, he'd always whine mama, and it would never be anything. But he wouldn't come to me for the major things.
Yeah.
But now that I've realized he has to learn the hard way, the boy, now when we were over playing the other day, and he was running around next to a pool and on the concrete and on the bicycle, he's got a huge scrape on his chest from where he fell on the bicycle, and he didn't tell me. I noticed it when he got out the shower, and I was getting him some clothes, and I was like, what did you do? He didn't come to the boy. He's all scraped up right now, but he's being a boy. He's being a kid. And it's the same thing when they get older and they start going off to college. You gotta let them learn. Well, even if it's the hard way. I'm not saying if they're doing horrific things not to step in. I'm just saying you cannot hover them.
Let them, you have to start, unfortunately, as soon as they enter this world, you have to slowly start cutting apron strings, not springs, strings.
I don't know, some people's maybe springs.
Some parents need to spring away and let their kids grow up.
Well,
but
you
anyway,
you can't live through your kids, whether it be college, school, any
well, too,
age.
you can't keep them in a bubble. I understand protecting them from some things because it's our job to protect them from some things. But you have to slowly cut those apron strings. Or once, like you said, say something happens to you, those kids are going to be totally lost. If you have to teach them independence, but you have to teach it in the right way. You have to teach them, okay, one day you're going to be faced with these situations. You need to know how to handle it. one day you're going to have to do this. And you also have to, like teaching them to walk, you have to let go
You have
of
to be
them
okay with them falling.
and let them start falling. But you're there to help. You're there to help pick them up and say, okay, you fell. This is what we might need to do next time. Get them used to hearing that voice of support, but correction instead
But
of.
also support and saying, I love you, but I can love you, but not also support you in bad decisions
Yeah.
you're making. But I can support you in going on the path that is better.
Yeah, it's kind of like, you did great this way, but if you go that way, it is what it is. Like you gonna smack your head open and be like, well, do we need to go to the hospital? You remember, that's like sometimes I look at True and I'm like, you remember whenever you whacked your head open on that chair at ABA and they had to call me and we had to go get your head stitched together? Kind of like, was it fun? I'm like, well, if you keep on, the exact same thing is going to happen. So you pick which one you want to do.
Well, even with Gus, when we do school now in the mornings, I can usually tell before we start as far as how he's doing in the morning, whether it's going to be a good day or a bad day. And if I can tell, I try not to judge ahead of time because I don't want to set the tone before, but
you can tell.
I can tell, and so he'll sit down, and there's things I know he can do that so he'll be lazy on or he'll slack on, and I'll look at him and go, all right, you know this, you know you can do better, but you just sitting over here not caring. And I'll ask him, do you really want to spend the rest of the day us hollering back and forth and me getting on to you and you crying, and we could have already had school over and done with? Or do you want to do what you're supposed to do and learn like you're supposed to, and we can get done, you can have the rest of the day to play? And sometimes it goes great, other days he chooses the hard path, and it ends with him in tears and me having to sit in the bathroom for a minute and compose myself because
you remember the time y'all told me, hey mama, maybe you need to go to the doctor since you have to stay in the bathroom so much?
No, I don't.
Yes.
I don't, but I'm waiting on that comment from one of the kids or something because, now Mabry specifically has gotten to where, yeah, and this has nothing to do with that time. It's just in general because they're really trying to potty on the toilet like they should. And it didn't matter how much I tried, they're not ready until they're ready.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, now it doesn't matter where we are. She stands outside the bathroom and she'll say, are you pooping? Then no. Then she says, are you done? Are you wiping your butt? Have you wiped your butt yet? Mama, are you wiping your butt? We were at Jeffrey's the other night, and I don't know if anyone heard it or not, but I had to go potty. The next thing I know, I hear a, Mama, you in there? And I said, yeah. She said, are you wiping your butt? And it's just them. It doesn't matter. But I thought, thank God it's not somebody we've just met. I mean, it is what it is, but...
This is way off topic. You remember that time we were in Fitzgerald? We were in the bathroom, and me and you were in one stall. Mama was in the other one, and she pooted. And you said, you didn't say, excuse me.
Was I little? Oh,
You told her.
No.
You said, you didn't say, excuse me. I thought I was going to bust a gut. She was like, excuse me. She's like, thank you. That's when Fitzgerald still had a Shawnees and all that. But that was,
This year gone much downhill since then.
yeah, well, I don't even know if there's any Shoney's left open. But yes, you're like,
Uh-uh.
you didn't say excuse me.
No, but Mabry makes it very known when I go to the bathroom now.
Mm-hmm.
So I got so tickled. I was like, I'll be out in a second. She said, she wouldn't stop until I answered her if I had wiped yet. And she won't stop asking until you've answered that specific question.
And part of it is taking these experiences like this
Mm-hmm.
and teaching them with it. That's like True informing me of, he's into all the fast cars and stuff, and I've already told them. He's into all the fast cars and
What is it about your boys that has expensive taste?
I don't know.
What do you do?
Oh, his is worse.
No, it's not.
He's
A Bugatti is about the price. If it's not less than more, a tractor's more than a Bugatti.
yeah. Well, it's he said, Mama. Oh, what he said, I'm gonna have a white Hellcat.
Do they even make Hellcats anymore?
They don't make him. Well, at the moment they don't make him anymore, but I figured they'll come out with something
Well, they
different.
stopped making Chargers too, didn't they?
All
Okay.
of that they stopped making, but
Way
I
off
figure it'll
topic.
come back. Anyway, he said, Mama, had you rather have, we do all of this, had you rather have, which would you pick? Had you rather have a Lamborghini or a Bugatti? I was like, I think a Bugatti, mainly because I like the name. And he said, but you wouldn't fit. And I was like, boy, I know I ain't tiny by any means, but I think I can fit in a car. And he was like, no, Mama, you can't fit in no Bugatti. You're going to have to pick something else. Because one, it's low to the ground, and two, they're small. So you wouldn't fit in a Bugatti.
That boy would humble anybody, though.
Well, and I looked at him, and now if it had been them, my head would have rotated 15 ways from Sunday. But with age comes wisdom, hopefully, and therapy. And I looked at him and I said, I used it as a learning experience. I was like, okay, so are you trying to make me go sit in a corner and squall? And then I reversed the situation on him. Say if somebody had said such and such to him, how would that make you feel? Or would you go to somebody else and say that same comment? No. Well, why is it? You have to kind of reverse it on them, and you have to use.
Well, and when it comes to college and stuff, ask them. Think about how you were in school, whether you liked it or didn't like it, and how you would have felt if your parents would have forced you to go the opposite way you wanted to. Say you wanted to go to college and your family couldn't afford it, or your family didn't want you to, and how you felt when they didn't support you.
Mm-hmm.
Or the opposite, if you didn't want to go to college but your parents forced you to go to college. Don't put it on them of, well, my parents forced me to go to college, but I'm glad they forced me to get. Don't put that on them. Mm-mm. Because that's your experience. That's not theirs. So don't put your experiences on them.
Well, and
let them have their own.
Make sure they understand why they want to go to college. Why do you want to go to college? Why?
What are you going to use it for?
Yeah, like okay.
And that's one thing. I really think college is overrated. I think the narrative of college has been so pushed, and that some people view you as if you don't go to college that you're lower than others. That's the complete opposite.
Mm-mm.
It's the complete opposite. So we just wanted to, that was something that popped into her mind, so that's something we thought,
well, and True is very tuned in to like how people look, and of course, telling me I can't fit in a Bugatti, but he's also very tuned into. One day he was like, "Oh, Mama, she's really pretty. Mama, she's really pretty. Mom, I'm really good at picking out pretty girls." Mm-hmm. He said, "I got really good taste when it comes to picking out pretty girls." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, you do, and that's great, True." But I said, "Do you know what? She may be beautiful on the outside, but what counts, who is she inside? But up under all of those looks, is she pretty inside? And so it's, you want your kids
nourish and support what's inside versus
help them find their own path.
What you want the world to see and think of you because of your kids.
Yeah, help them to find their own path. And high schoolers, college kids, whatever.
Well, I think
I
think if your school also if you're thinking about college, I don't know if places still do this or not, but if you're thinking about college and you don't know if you want to do it, do the dual enrollment and see.
Yeah.
Just get your feet wet. See if you would be okay with
because it's paid for when you go.
Oh, I don't know.
When you do dual enrollment, you don't have to pay for it. That's the way it used to be.
Well, I think it depends on what school you go to.
Yeah.
Because if you go to a private school, you're already paying anyways.
Yeah.
So I think you have to pay for it.
I think with public school too, you can go and it's paid for while you're in school.
No clue.
Like your senior year.
I have no clue because.
And then you get a taste of the workload too.
But
we're gonna wrap this up really quick.
Yes.
This
is our third time. My phone has died, and we were still just talking. So thank y'all again for tuning in, and we hope y'all enjoy and have a good day or evening or whatever
night
it is.
or
Bye bye.